Chapter 108. Mysterious Mist. Then hurry up and eat quickly and set off. As long as we obtain the water spirit fruit, my sister will be able to successfully form the 7 transformation purple Dan. And in this Demon Yuan City's 3 families competition, my sister will be able to secure a spot in the top 3, preserving the status of one of our Yun family's Demon Yuan City's 3 great families. The red-skirted young girl sniffed and said excitedly. In the middle of the forest of demonic beasts, there was likewise a team of more than 100 people coming in great numbers. And at the front of the team, a white-clothed, long-shirted young man and a green-clothed old man were sitting side by side on a carriage. Qian Hao, we've been traveling for 10 days without sleep. Tomorrow, we should be able to catch up with those 2 little girls from the Yun family. The green-clothed old man next to him said. The white-clothed youth heard this, and a scorching light appeared in his eyes. I heard that the 2 young ladies of the Yun family are a pair of stunning twins, and that one possesses an upper-grade spiritual root of the water system, and the other possesses an upper-grade spiritual root of the fire system. So if I can have a double rest with them, and the water and fire work together, I'll definitely be able to have a huge increase in my cultivation. And at that time, even if I were to face that monster of the Shenta family, I might not necessarily lose. That monster from the Shenta family is a madman. He may not participate in the 3-family competition this time. You don't need to worry. But if I can really capture the 2 young ladies from the Yun family this time, and let them have a double rest with you, it should be enough to allow your cultivation to step up to the 3rd level of the Jiden stage. And at that time, my Zhong family will be able to become the #1 family in Demon Yuan City. The green-clothed old man smiled morosely. They came from the Zhong family, one of the 3 major families in Demon Yuan City, and the green-clothed old man was called Zhong Kixin, the 3rd elder of the Zhong family, whose cultivation had already reached the 7th level of the Jiden stage. The white-clothed young man on the side was called Zhong Tianhao, the son of the Zhong family's head, the young master of the Zhong family. Don't worry, 3rd uncle, with Elder Wu's hand this time. It will definitely be a handful, Zhong Tianhao said with a face full of confidence. When Zhong Kixin heard this, he looked at the carriage behind him with some awe and respectfully said, Fellow Taoist Wu, I'm counting on you this time. Zhong Tianhao sniffed and also looked at the carriage behind him. At this moment, an old voice came out from the carriage. No need to be polite. Taking someone's money and eliminating someone's disaster. Mr. Wu is just doing his part. With fellow Taoist Wu's words, we will definitely succeed this time, Zhong Tianhao laughed. A hint of lust flashed in the bottom of his eyes, as if he had already seen 2 stunning beauties pleasuring themselves underneath him. In the forest of demon beasts, Kang Qian and Xiao Jin were rushing at full speed. All the demonic beasts that they met along the way were resolved by their joint efforts. Even the powerful 9th layer of the Jiden stage demonic beasts had to die a grim death under their joint attacks. Although Kang Qian was not as strong as Xiao Jin, but with the heaven escaping hand, it was enough to trap the 9th layer of Jiden stage demonic beasts for a period of time. And during this period of time, Xiao Jin would be enough to exterminate them. With the loss of time, the 1 man and 1 monkey worked together more and more seamlessly. Strange, why is the fog so big all of a sudden? Won't we get lost if this goes on? In the forest of demonic beasts, Kang Qian was in the middle of a thick fog. All directions were covered by fog. This kind of fog was very strange, even though his eyes contained true essence. He couldn't see through this thick fog. The whole person was instantly lost in the fog. Kang Qian and Xiao Jin wandered around for half a day without finding a way out. This isn't an ordinary fog. It's a water fog condensed by a water spell. Even a Jiden stage cultivator would be lost in it, and it would be difficult for a non-Yuanying stage powerhouse to crack it. In the reverse heavenly cauldron, the Dan Emperor woke up from his cultivation, and seeing Kang Qian and Xiao Jin depressed in place, he couldn't help but explain with a smile. Water spells, Kang Chon frowned upon hearing this. Could it be that a water-type demonic beast has struck out against us? He instantly thought of demonic beasts. After all, this was the forest of demonic beasts, and he hadn't seen a single human figure here so far. I don't think so. It should be man-made. This kind of spell has no attacking power. It's usually used to cover the tracks and ambush the enemy. There are very few demonic beasts that know this kind of spell. Emperor Dan shook his head and said, "Artificial." Kang Chon sniffed in surprise. Could it be that there is someone else here besides us? This place is already far away from the center of the forest of demonic beasts. It's naturally not strange for someone to appear. Emperor Dan laughed. Rumor has it that there are often some despicable cultivators who hunt down and kill some of the training cultivators at the edge of the forest of demonic beasts in order to obtain each other's harvests. Can it be possible that we are also being targeted? He. Kang Chon looked at the surrounding mist and laughed coldly. Little Gold followed beside him, his two large eyes vigilantly scanning the surroundings. One person and one monkey began to advance based on their intuition. The surrounding fog was getting thicker and thicker, filling the entire space, and everywhere was white, making it impossible to see the scene within a meter in front of them. In the middle of the white fog, the team of over 100 people was trapped in it, unable to find a way out. Uncle Ma, when did this strange fog appear on the road to the Bian Lake? Inside a carriage, a young girl wearing a watery blue dress came out. At this moment, the group stopped traveling and many people gathered around, worried about losing their way. The old man known as Uncle Ma came next to the vehicle and said in a deep voice to the young girl, "Missy, if old Ma didn't guess wrongly, this strange fog should be man-made. And as far as I know, there is a type of water spell that has this effect." The water blue long-skirted girl's face changed when she heard this, and then she gruffly said, "What Uncle Ma means is that someone has ambushed us here long ago." Her face was a little ugly, as the eldest young lady of one of the three great families of Demon Yuan City, who would dare to be so bold as to make a move against her. "Sister, who dares to be so bold? We are one of the three great families of Demon Yuan City." A red-skirted young girl walked down from the carriage and said nervously, "Fool, what do you little ninny know? Demon Yuan City is not as simple as you think. Of the three great families, the Shenta family is the most powerful, and no one has shaken their position. The remaining the Yun family and the Zhong family have been competing. And under the three great families, there is also a Zhou family that is on the rise. Right now in Demon Yuan City, there have long been dark currents." The water blue long-skirted girl said with a face full of worry. "Sister, then do you think it's the Zhou family or the Zhong family?" The red-skirted maiden sniffed curiously. "HMPH, the Zhou family is building up their strength. They don't have the guts to tear their face off with our Yun family yet. Only the Zhong family has the guts and strength to do so." The watery blue gown girl snorted coldly. "Coming." The red-skirted maiden was about to say more, when suddenly Uncle Ma's shout came from the side, only to see, in the depths of the thick fog in the distance, a figure appeared and surrounded their Yun family's men and horses at once. "It's the Zhong clan's people." At this moment, the surrounding Yun family's centaurs also gathered over, and as they looked at the figures surrounding them, they coincidentally frowned. "It's really them." The aquamarine blue long-skirted girl's gaze was cold as her sight looked towards the three figures walking in the distance, and in the middle of these three figures was a white-clothed, long-shirted youth. This youth she recognized. It was the Zhong family's youngest advocate Chon Hao, who was said to have already formed the 7 transformation Violet Dan, and was second only to the Great Tang 7 warriors amongst the Great Tang's young generation. As for the green-clothed old man beside Zhong Tianhao, she also recognized him. He was the Zhong family's third elder, Zhong Kixin, and his strength was very powerful, being at the 7th level of the Jidan stage. As for the other grey-clothed old man, she didn't recognize, and at that moment couldn't help but frown slightly. Uncle Ma and the red-skirted girl also both frowned as they looked towards the approaching trio, and the surrounding crowd of Yun family's children all gripped their swords tightly in their hands, each looking vigilant as they watched the three silhouettes walking in the distance. Haha, what a coincidence. I didn't expect to meet the two misses of the Yun family here. We are really destined to meet. Zhong Tianhao walked with a smile. Beside him, the grey-clothed old man and Zhong Kixin coldly looked at the crowd of Yun family's children on the opposite side. The aquamarine blue long-skirted girl looked at him coldly and said indifferently, I really underestimated your Zhong family. To have the guts to openly tear ourselves apart from our Yun family. Haha, as expected of Miss Yun Shuiyao. You seem to have guessed that it was us a long time ago. Zhong Tianhao was slightly surprised at his words. Other than you, Zhong Tianhao, who else could do such shameless things? Humph, let me tell you, our Yun family will not let you go. The red-skirted girl on the side said angrily. Yun Shuiyao, however, frowned as she looked at the grey-clothed old man across from her. Her face couldn't help but sink as a trace of worry flashed through her beautiful eyes. Sister Red Dance is still so grumpy. But brother, I like such beauties. Haha. Zhong Tianhao laughed lasciviously, his two eyes constantly sweeping over the Yun family sisters, straight away looking at the two Yun family, Mrs. entire body uncomfortable. Rascal. The red-skirted girl pooh-poohed him and hid behind Uncle Ma. Yun Shuiru's eyebrows were slightly frowned and her face was cold as she said, Say it, what do you want? Do you really want to tear your face off with our Yun family? You know what kind of consequences this will have. Hee. Sister Shuiru is overstating it. Brother, I have specially come here this time to receive you all as guests of my Zhong family. Ever since the moment I met you back then, I couldn't restrain myself from falling in love with you. And I have already decided that I would like to propose marriage to your Yun family. Zhong Tianhao heatedly laughed. Stinking rascal. My sister won't look at you, you toad wanting to eat swan meat. The red-skirted girl sniffed from behind Uncle Ma and shouted. Yun Shuiru, on the other hand, said indifferently, Since it's a marriage proposal, it should be going to my Yun family. And what are you here for? Naturally, it's to capture you back first and cook rice with you. By then your father will have to agree. Haha, how about it? Brother's idea is wonderful. Zhong Tianhao revealed a sinister smile at his words. Yun Shuiru's face sank as she coldly said, Since that's the case, there's nothing more to say. Strike, let me see how much skill you Zhong Tianhao has. Saying that, he even took the lead and struck out at Zhong Tianhao. His speed was strangely fast, causing the grey-clothed old man and Zhong Kixin on the side to fail to react. Boom! Zhong Tianhao hastily summoned up his entire body's true essence to fend off Yun Shuyun's attack. But the powerful force sent his body flying out, a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. Good Yun Shuiyao, deliberately delaying to prepare for this strike. I admire your intelligence, but your strength is still far from good. Zhong Tianhao wiped off the blood from the corner of his mouth and looked at Yun Shuyun with an ice-cold gaze. What a ghostly little girl. Even the old man didn't react. The grey-clothed old man smiled morosely. Zhong Kixin's face was also unsightly as he shouted to the group of Zhong clan's children around him, Make your move, with that. He was the first to attack towards Uncle Ma, his powerful 7th level Jiden stage strength shaking the earth. HMPH. On the opposite side, Uncle Ma snorted coldly, similarly erupting the aura of a strong 7th layer of the Jiden stage, and battled with Zhong Kixin. The two of them were incomparably powerful, and in order not to accidentally injure the two sides below, they were both fighting high up in the sky with their swords. On the ground, Zhong Tianhao coldly looked at Yun Shuiyao and laughed morosely. You two sisters come together. Let your future husband teach you a bit about how to be a good wife and mother. After speaking, Zhong Tianhao rushed towards the two sisters of Yun Shuyun. Yun Shuiyao's expression was grave as she teamed up with the red-skirted maiden on the side to fight against Zhong Tianhao, and the three of them fought with the same incomparable intensity. Around them, a group of Zhong clan's children and Yun clan's children also fought and killed, and the tragic sounds of killing spread throughout the forest of demonic beasts. But the surrounding area was covered by a thick fog, and none of the demonic beasts dared to wade in. The grey-clothed old man, on the other hand, stood on the side, coldly watching the battlefield, and did not rush to make a move. At this moment, not far away in the thick fog, Kang Chon was searching for a way out with Xiao Jin, when he suddenly heard a tragic killing sound coming from the front, and stopped in his tracks.